Alden Smith, Julio Jones, Patrick Peterson, A.J. Green, Marcel Darius, Von Miller, Cam Newton.
That was a star-studded draft.
Robert Quinn, Pouncey, Kerrigan, Soldier.
Everybody was shocked that he lasted that long. Or he
Cameron Jordan.
snuck in. I wish Cam Jordan could have been a Raider.
God, imagine taking Jonathan Baldwin or Danny Watkins or Phil Taylor.
Two Baylor players who were busts.
Or Jake Lockard or Christian Ponder.
Bro, that was probably the worst draft ever for quarterbacks. And honestly, Danny Watkins was a shock coming out of bed. He's like 29 when he got drafted because he played Canadian football.
I'm kind of mad they put Muhammad Wilkerson. Like, they didn't highlight his name. That's kind of disrespectful.
He's pretty good.
He's a lot better than some of these sorry-ass dudes.
You know what's funny? The Raiders really passed on Le'Veon Bell, DeAndre Hopkins in the same draft, and Travis Kelce.
That was actually a pretty good draft.
That was an excellent draft.
Like, all throughout.
That draft,
there was Pro Bowlers taking all throughout.
Almost every round. If you look at DeAndre Hopkins' draft class, they managed to miss on so many guys who were ready to play, and they missed on all of them. Like, how do you routinely miss on? Like, you take so many projects that you just pass on good players. That's what I think is a cardinal sin. I'd rather pass on somebody I know what they can do, and even if they don't,
they're not even taking projects though. It's like they just miss. Like,
let me turn you into something you're not. And then if you don't work out, I can just walk away. Like they had, I saw on IG had like the post of Justin Jefferson juking everybody in the national title game. Which, by the way, I think he should win Rookie of the Year. It's harder to be an All-Pro wide receiver than it is to be a QB with great stats. But that's a whole. We'll talk about that next week because NFL awards are coming up. But yeah, like you look at that.
Hopefully we'll get to that along with Pro Bowl and Hall of Fame stuff. We've been procrastinating for like 2 months.
It's like we talked about it, but we didn't really go in depth on it.
Well, because like right now we're over time. Okay, so the Eagles fired Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning head coach. Touchdown and turnover for the Eagles.
They have to do something. They need a culture change.
They changed their fucking QB. Wasn't that enough?
No.
Are you not impressed?
I'm not entertained. Are you entertained? No, I'm not entertained. So, therefore, you have to just clean up the whole organization again. You got to do a deep clean. Because, it's just, it wasn't working. And once you challenge the efficacy of the head coach and his moral compass for tanking, you're done. It's over. Unless you're going to pull a Tom Cable and start whooping people's asses, it's over.
As far as...
By the way, Tom Cable was on the Seahawks staff, isn't he?
No, he's with the Raiders. He's our O-line coach.
He's back with the Raiders again?
He's been with the Raiders for like 2 years.
Fuck, I thought they got rid of him again.
Are you good?
No, but like, I thought they really, really got rid of it. I thought I was free of Cable.
Nah, I think he still was the Raiders. Yeah, he is. He's the offensive line coach of the Raiders. Don't make me second guess myself. But yeah, as far as Doug Peterson, I think it's just there was rumors he wanted to step down throughout the season. Just too much pressure. He was tired of everyone telling him what to do, getting pushed back from his quarterback.
I got your only Super Bowl.
Defense was all over the place. I don't know. The Eagles, it's like they seem like a shit show. But they really shouldn't be. Like, they just won a Super Bowl, 3-4 years ago? They still have talent on the defense. Granted, it's aging, and they still haven't found the right corners. But the pantry isn't fully barren, but it seems like now it's going to be because whatever little window they might have had is either closed
bye-bye
because of Wentz, or it's definitely closed because of Wentz and Peterson both being gone. And now you're just going to have to blow the whole shit up.
Your defense, your corners were terrible.
Yep.
Like, they need somebody to hit the reset button on that franchise because they got talent. I would say they have.
I feel like whoever takes
this
job though is going to be set up to fail. They're going to be that coach for 2 years when they're rebuilding and shitty, and then whoever comes in 2 years from now will actually have a chance.
I don't think they need to rebuild. They just need to retool. Look at who they have. They have a Pro Bowl player at every level of their defense. The offense has just been hurt. Like they've just been hurt. I mean, Zach Ertz might be done in Philly because, I mean, like I said, he's
it's just
kind of
one of those
things.
It's like, yeah, the Eagles just need to retool, but at the same time, it's like that fucking thing you keep putting duct tape on, and it's like, dude, it works. Like I just keep putting duct tape on it, and it's like by the end of it, it's like the whole fucking thing is just wrapped in duct tape, and you're like, it still works, but you're like, dog, this looks like shit. You don't have to do this anymore.
Oh, you mean like you with when you have all those excess plugs? Like when you turn on your gaming system, I was like, why do you have so many extension cords?
Yeah.
I was like, fam, are you stealing government like Wi-Fi?
I didn't have any batteries.
Bro, that causes fires. That shit is dangerous. There are trap houses that don't have that many fucking wires in it. Not that I would know, but that's ridiculous.
But I think what I'm getting to is like, who's their best young player? Like
Miles Sanders
on the right side of 30.
Miles Sanders.
Next,
Darius Slay.
Darius Slay, I think is 30.
Man, he's still a prime corner.
Malik Jackson over 30.
Don't say Brandon Graham or Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox is still good.
Over 30 though.
He'd be elite somewhere else.
He's 30.
He'd be elite somewhere else. They got time for one last run. The veterans on that team.
Slay's 30.
Barely
Leeds
30.
30.
Barely 30. Kelsey's out like 32, 33.
Ertz is 30.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of 30 because his
Lane
protection.
Johnson is 30. Peters is 38.
Yeah, injured like a mother.
Brooks is 31.
Brooks didn't even play this year because
he's on the roster.
He got hurt again.
Kelsey's 33.
Yeah, they got one more. They got like
Jeffrey's
2 more.
30. Goodwin's 30.
They got like
Deshaun's over 30.
Deshaun's just fast, and honestly, him and Cliff Branch need to be in the Hall of Fame. And by the way, you done with the Eagles? Because I have one more for you. I don't know if you saw that commercial with Tom Flores and his grandson.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
The beer commercial?
Mm-hmm.
What was your take on that?
Well, are we doing take or tangent now?
I mean, was it a touchdown or a turnover? And you can go on.
It was definitely a touchdown. It was definitely a touchdown. I think I'm all aboard for Coors Light putting Tom Flores out there. I just feel bad that they have to pimp this dude out to get him in the Hall of Fame. But fuck it, do whatever. Because honestly, as soon as those cans drop, I'm gonna go to Vegas and get me a 30 rack because that shit is tight.
I'm gonna order it off Amazon.
And yeah, man, fucking great as a QB, not great as a QB, but great as a coach. Great, very good broadcaster, solid QB. Done everything in the game you could ask for. And LZ Granderson and Sedano were having this conversation when shortly before we came on air, but on ESPN LA, and they were just saying, I think just overall in society, we really have a habit of overlooking Latino, Latinx contributions to things. And, like we talk about, like justly, we talk about, and this was LZ's point, he's like, justly, we talk about, creating diversity and inclusion for black people. Like, obviously, like, yeah, we need that and everything, but we also have to talk about other groups too. And so I think in football, how can you not have the Latino coach, the first and only Latino coach in QB to win a Super Bowl? Like, how is that man not in?
I think that purposely whitewashed their history. Because we did Tom Flores, you don't necessarily think he's a Latino. History, young people don't really know that. If you're a diehard Raiders fan, you know that. But the NFL, like the same way they do Gary Sheffield in baseball, they like to just forget.
And
you were there.
And that's what LZ was saying. He was like, he's like, yes, like we know the struggle of black people, and he's like, and we need to fight for that. He's like, I'm not saying we don't, but we need to also give more credit to other people who have also broken down barriers.
Yeah, and in this case,
and it's like, and we don't do enough of that. It's just like, well, he was above average head coach, above average QB, and just leave it at that. But it's like, no, he also broke down major barriers.
That's the whitewashed. That's what I'm saying. That's the whitewashed version of him. Like, if you know him and read off his stats, you can't tell me he's not a Hall of Fame coach. But Coughlin will go in before him. And Coughlin was trash everywhere else and mediocre in New York until those 2 years. So it's like, if he was just a straight up white dude, we would not be having this conversation. Yeah. But because his last name's Flores, and they have to pretty much acknowledge that the Raiders are the most racially fair and diverse organization in the history of sports. Like, when the Black Panthers are connected to you.
And the Hells Angels.
And, the Hells Angels. And, like, the Raiders, like, when you look at Straight Outta Compton, like, the Raiders are the culture. Like, are a part of pop culture. A, because black people made it that way. And B, location and history, Oakland, and it spread out to L.A., and it hit crucial points, crucial melting pots where people who are very cultured are representations of the culture. They live it every day. And then you throw the Raiders in that mix, and those people honor that. They honor the Lakers. They honor the Raiders, no matter where you go. But, again, when it comes to, places like baseball and places like the NFL Hall of Fame, they say, the greats, but there's either a racial bias that comes up, like with T.O. or Tom Flores or Jim Plunkett, or there's a stigma from the media that they were like a problem. Or they like to just completely just take all the air out of your greatness. Like, and also the NFL has a beef with the Raiders, but that's just a fact. Like, there's just a blood feud against Raiders players. Because Cliff Branch should be in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of great Raider players that are Hall of Famers, and they died before they got in. Or they still haven't gotten in. Shout out to Ken Stabler.
All right, and last two. Let's switch to Take or Tangent. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Ready for this? All right. Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams. You got to take or a tangent on that matchup for the divisional playoffs?
Jalen Ramsey is having a Darrelle Revis historical type resume. He's shutting down all the number one receivers on every team he goes up against. DK Metcalf got shut down. Like,
are you going to give Coop some credit for getting the most yards against him?
They probably ran zone.
See how you are.
I'm just saying. They probably ran zone.
You can never give my favorite players credit.
I can't give Cooper credit.
You could never give the Pete All-Pro team any credit.
Nah, because you always pick the one white slot receiver that like never gets number one coverage.
Okay, I hate white receivers. You know this. We've literally gone on.
You like Kevin Curtis though. You like Kevin Curtis.
I've never liked Kevin Curtis.
You like Kevin Curtis. Don't lie. Dane Looker. Oh, what was the one dude who he switched from Jim Fury? Mike Furry? Oh.
Dog, we've been doing this show for 4 years and you don't fucking know this?
You hate Matt Miller, one of the all-time great Boise State receivers?
So just put a Mike Miller headband on this whole conversation.
Wow. Wow. And I said Matt
you
Miller.
Like that bar on. You like that bar
on. But, I mean, yeah. I just think the Packers are going to win it. We're talking about Jalen Ramsey, but Jair Alexander quietly.
Wait, so hold up. Who are you going with in that matchup? Bay Area,
Oh, you
legend
did? Oh, you son of a bitch.
versus your favorite Rams
Your Honor,
corner.
this